What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to talk about commitments. I talked about it briefly yesterday, and I just got me thinking about it a little bit. At what point do you settle and at what point do you find your passion? How many times is too much? And how long is too much? There's a lot of quotes around that. For example, the grass is always greener. I'm sure there's a lot more, but I can't think of any right now. But how many is too many? I guess this goes for relationships as well. At what point do you consider it settling or that you just can't commit? This goes for jobs too. A bunch of corporate companies value loyalty, and they claim they will always treat you like family, always take care of you, XYZ. But how long do you give things before moving on? Do you just know? I don't know. It just got me thinking about relationships, jobs, hobbies. Do you try until you get over that hump of the learning hump where, when you're first learning, you think you know everything, but until you learn enough to know you don't know anything, is that the point where you decide? I think that might be a good point, whether to pivot to another fill in the blank, another hobby, job. I don't know if that works for relationships or not. But maybe it's the peak of the first hill, let's call it that, where you know how much you don't know, if that makes sense. Maybe that's the time to turn around and go find another hill to climb. Completely lost my train of thoughts. Commitment. Know when to step away. I oftentimes don't know when to. Maybe I do it too early. Maybe I don't do it soon enough. Do you learn as you go through life the timing, or does society tell you when to leave things? Do you start getting whispers from friends, family, coworkers, bosses, mentors as to when? And how do you know who to listen to? I'd like to say God, but a lot of times we don't like his answer, but we just have to trust him. but I feel sometimes he puts people in our lives to listen to them, and he speaks through them. But how do we know it's not the woman in the red dress? That's a metaphor that Hermosa uses, that he got from The Matrix. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Matrix, but in there's a scene where Neo's going through the Matrix. He's just walking by, and all of a sudden he sees this very pretty girl in a red dress, the woman in the red dress. He's distracted. He's like, oh man, look at her. Looking back, whatever. And then he looks forward again, and it's the agent. Oh my God, I forgot his name. It's the guy who always says like Mr. Anderson. Anyway, the woman in the red dress represents the distractions we see and we encounter many times in life. And we just have to learn to say no to her. And the thing is, she gets more and more attractive as you get older. And you gotta keep your willpower strong and stay focused on your goals, commit, and really know what your goal is. And learn not to look at her. Yeah. I know I will encounter many women in red dresses throughout my life. Again, I'd like to say now, I will be able to not look, stay focused, but a lot easier said than being done. Because, yeah, she keeps getting more and more attractive. But staying focused on your goals. That's why a lot of people aren't successful. They're distracted, comfortability, avoid discomfort. They like staying in their little bubble. They have just enough. There's another saying, it's if you give a man constant entertainment, food, entertainment, and sex, he will throw away all of his goals, something like that. And I think a lot of people do fall into that trap. Because if you have just enough to have all your needs, why not? It's comfortable in bed. It's warm in here. I don't want to get up. But I'm just rambling now. But I'm starting to learn how to edit, so pretty excited. Still in the honeymoon phase of YouTube. But so it's pretty easy to stay engaged, whatever. But yeah. I'm excited to see how these videos turn out as I continue learning how to edit. There, guys. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Stay sharp. See y'all soon.